Legend of Dungeon is a roguelike RPG dungeon crawler with a retro pixel art style. In it, you first arrive at the tavern, where you are told that there is an amazing treasure on the 26th dungeon floor. Where is this dungeon? Why, right under the tavern, of course. So, grabbing the lantern on the table, a few beers, and a couple of apples for health, you set off down there. What better cause than the promise of treasure, right? The game shares all the usual roguelike tropes: permanent death, random dungeons, random monsters, random loot that may or may not be useful, each getting more intense on the way down. Your lantern lights the way through rooms that have no light sources, though you can't carry a weapon at the same time, so you have to be careful. Strange how most of the weapons in this game are one-handed, and I can't hold a lantern at the same time. Loot is divided into potions, spellbooks, hats, and weapons. There are tons and tons of potion colors to find and try on your trek down into the darkness. But good luck finding anything useful since their effects scramble every time you die. So yeah, that red potion you had earlier that restored all of your health, now it just makes you barf rainbows. 'Cause that makes sense. Same thing goes for the spellbooks. You could find one and use it on one run through the dungeon, and in the next run it will do something completely different. I was all set to draw a little chart so I could remember the dozens of potion colors, spellbooks, and what they did, but the game just doesn't let you, since every time you die it just does something else entirely. Fun. Hats are the only type of armor that you're going to find in this game. Everything from hats with lights to hats with armor. There's plenty to find and pick from. Their modifiers change based on random chance though, so you might find one hat that has plenty of armor, and then find the exact same hat later and find that it makes you walk slower or have fire resistance. There are no concrete items in this game. It's all happenstance and chance. The weapons are the same, but there are some pretty cool ones out there. I really liked the flame sword, since it glows in the dark and helps you see. Ranged weapons are garbage though, as they do far less damage than melee weapons, and most enemies are actually too short to hit. There are bosses, of course, randomly placed throughout the dungeon. You might see the same one multiple times, or you might not see any at all on your way down. You can identify a boss usually because they have the ability to summon other, smaller monsters to their aid. Vampires, minotaurs, pharaoh mummies, there's a little bit of everything down there. This game has nothing if not great enemy variety. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I only made it to about the 11th floor or so because this game is just not worth playing. Its combat is getting close and swinging, hoping the other guy gets knocked back before he gets you. Dark rooms often end up being the death of you instead of any traps or tricks, and while the dynamic lighting is certainly pretty, that doesn't mean that it doesn't clash with the ancient 256 pixel art style. There's retro-styled games, and then there's just being cheap. If you can program such a gorgeous art style when it comes to fire, water, moving shadows, and the like, why do all the sprites look like garbage? That and these are 2D sprites in a 3D environment, which often leads to walking off of bridges, missing enemies and having them cream you, and many other problems. Imagine playing Paper Mario in a super dark room full of shit that's out to kill you. It's not very fun. Legend of Dungeon also has compatibility with the Oculus Rift, though I'll be damned if I know anybody that actually owns one outside of the famous YouTube Let's Player community. It's like all the areas in this game that needed attention were ignored, and all the bells and whistles that should have been extra were focused on. There's Easter eggs, Doctor Who references, and a strange obsession with cats to be found. If you can find a cat, you can wear it like a hat, because most of them have no stats and do absolutely nothing, so I'm puzzled about them, though they will just destroy you if you accidentally swing your weapon at them, so you have to be careful. So let's say you get all the way down there to the 26th level of this nearly impossible dungeon. What do you get? What's the treasure? It's a blue diamond. Is that what that is? It's hard to tell. It's called treasure in your inventory, so I guess that's what it is. Oh, but wait, there's one thing I forgot to mention. You're not done yet. If you want credit for getting the treasure, you have to bring it all the way back to the tavern. So you have to go all the way back through the dungeon in reverse and not die to deliver the treasure and claim your victory. It doesn't count to just go there and grab it. So, you managed to brave this hellish dungeon landscape. You brought the treasure back. What do you get? A high score on a scoreboard based on how much gold you were carrying. That's it. Well, no, not even that, because the high scoreboard resets once a week to prevent hacker abuse, so you don't even get that to your credit. There are unlockable characters and classes, but I just could not be bothered. This game's difficulty and lack of basic commodities like potion effects remaining constant just made me put it down. I don't hate this game, I don't. It's just everything it does, other roguelikes have done way, way better. Binding of Isaac has better loot and story. Rogue Legacy has better RPG elements and colorful dungeon design. Even Die Hard Dungeon has better and more interesting bosses. So if you're in the bottom of the barrel with games like Die Hard Dungeon, you know something is really wrong. This game can't even keep track of its Steam achievements properly. I'm stunned at the misappropriation of effort in all the wrong areas. I like pixel games. I like dungeon crawlers. I really like RPGs. But Legend of Dungeon just gets everything wrong or substandard at best. I cannot recommend this one when there's so much better stuff out there. I just say you've got to ignore this one, guys.